If you're tired of waiting 30 seconds for pizza or frustrated by a few minutes of lag, get ready to feel pathetically invisible. If we compress 200,000 years of history into 1 hour, every second represents 50 years. An average human life lasts just 1.5 seconds, a literal blink of an eye. We pride ourselves on shiny smartphones as the peak of evolution. But for the first 55 minutes, our ancestors did nothing but wander and gather berries. They spent their time trying not to become dinner for a giant cat. Imagine sitting on a musical express train watching 10,000 generations pass by. You can watch this while studying, working, or just to soothe your ego. But first, in 2026, foreign aid cuts are threatening the world's poorest communities. Scorpi acts as a sober filter in a sea of confusing information. Their researchers find the most cost-effective ways to save lives in real time. Thanks to Scorpi, deep educational content like this can reach you. Now, look out the window. We are 200,000 years ago in East Africa. The Earth is in an ice age, but this land remains a temperate cradle. Here, the first Homo sapiens set foot on the world. We all share a single maternal ancestor from this era through mitochondrial DNA. Our ancestors were master hunters who controlled fire and lived in close communities. They traveled hundreds of miles without shoes to find obsidian for cutting tools. We weren't alone. Other cousins lived alongside us for millions of years. They eventually vanished, leaving us with an endless desire to wander. The biggest obstacles were the deserts, walls of sand without a drop of water. We learned to hop between oases in a series of random, unplanned steps. Hilariously, the first evidence of clothing comes from the evolution of lice. Body lice reveal that ancestors felt bashful or cold 180,000 years ago. Our greatest strength is adaptation, like eating roasted snails 170,000 years ago. Archaeologists today call these ancient leftovers treasures from trash. A true paleo life wasn't romantic. It required 3,000 calories a day to survive. If you found fruit, you ate until you burst before hyenas could steal it. They worked 20 hours a week, spending the rest socializing or doodling. Yet they lived in fear that tomorrow's hunt might be their last. Ancient rivers became natural highways as humans spread faster across the world. Findings like Dragon Man in China show many bugs left in our history. 125,000 years ago, the first art appeared, red ochre and perforated shells. Even without enough food, we wanted to wear jewelry and look cool. 120,000-year-old footprints in Saudi Arabia reveal a lush green paradise. The first abstract symbols were carved into bone, a mysterious message to the future. When Homo erectus went extinct, 1.7 million years of history vanished with them. Climate change forced us out of Africa via land bridges as sea levels dropped. We developed a taste for starch, and our mouth bacteria adapted to tubers. 100,000 years ago, the first graves show interest in the afterlife and inner worlds. We possessed language, culture, and a creative self-awareness others lacked. Did all these advances actually make us happier, or just start a survival game? Perhaps the ultimate prize of this grand journey is simply existence. While we were busy with shell jewelry and early languages to gossip about neighbors, The universe reminded us that humans are just uninvited guests on a temperamental planet. 74,000 years ago, our historical train shook violently as the Toba supervolcano erupted. The horrific blast obscured the sun for years, driving humanity into a genetic bottleneck. The Homo sapiens population plummeted to fewer than 10,000 individuals. If you gathered everyone alive back then, they wouldn't even fill a corner of a modern stadium. We nearly became a forgotten, extinct species, but the toughest survivors held on. Hiding in caves and scavenging every scrap of food, they kept our light alive. After the disaster, we emerged sharper, spending time in caves honing our carving skills. Dead stone walls were transformed into the world's very first abstract diaries. As the climate stabilized, we journeyed through the dense jungles of Southeast Asia. Every bush could hide a predator, and every fruit could be your last meal. 70,000 years ago in Botswana, we find evidence of strange ancient rituals. Ancestors offered spearheads to a giant rock python, showing deep-seated spiritual beliefs. Expanding into Europe, we encountered our Neanderthal cousins once again. Instead of an action movie war, we chose to intermingle more than expected. As a result, 1 to 4% of their DNA still lingers inside you today. Humans became true stone experts, walking miles to find the highest quality flint.
This perfectionism is the ancestor of waiting in line all night for a new smartphone.
61,000 years ago, a weapon revolution began with the invention of the bow and arrow. Homo sapiens became long-distance dealers of death, hunting without direct danger. Technology advanced as we built crude rafts to cross the seas of Southeast Asia. We entered New Guinea and Australia, alien worlds filled with strange marsupials. Some endured tropical heat, while others faced the bone-chilling frost of Siberia. Meeting Denisovans in Asia added genetic traits that helped us live in high altitudes. Our elite hunting skills became a nightmare for the world's giant beasts. A mass extinction of megafauna followed our footsteps across every continent.
50,000 years ago, humanity underwent a massive software upgrade in culture.
We transformed from mere survivors into beings of thought, creativity, and expression. The 40,000-year-old Lion Man statue in Germany shows our growing imagination. We began imagining things that don't exist, leading to the birth of myth and religion. Caves became safe fortresses and art galleries filled with fire and bone flutes. Even foxes realized that scavenging our leftovers was a brilliant survival strategy. By 35,000 years ago, Neanderthals vanished, unable to compete with our adaptation. But history isn't just art. 33,000 years ago, we find the first victim of murder. A smashed skull reminds us that violence has always been part of our human setup. Luckily, we also found friends. The first wolves were domesticated into dogs. Sharing food and warmth, we began the longest-running friendship in Earth's history. 30,000 years ago, we mastered weaving flax into form-fitting outfits. We traded crude skins for layered clothing to conquer the harshest environments. Every invention is a brick in the tower we stand upon today. But in our rush to conquer nature, have we lost our pure connection to it? 25,000 years ago, the Oruwani supervolcano darkened the southern hemisphere. But unlike before, humans were now professional survivors, mastering their own fate. When giant cave bears went extinct, we simply moved into their luxury apartments. 20,000 years ago, sea levels dropped, exposing a land bridge between Siberia and Alaska. The bravest groups began an epic trek across the Bering Bridge to reach the Americas. They sprinted across continents, reaching the tip of South America in just a few thousand years. They faced jungle titans and saber-toothed tigers, nothing but grit and stone tools. Meanwhile, in China, the first pottery was born, marking the start of MasterChef boiled food. But history has dark spots, with evidence of ritual cannibalism appearing 15,800 years ago. 12,000 years ago, Göbekli Tepe in Turkey signaled a wake-up call for humanity. We built massive stone pillars together, marking the end of our wandering era. We made the biggest bet in history, trading hunter-gatherer freedom for the plow. We domesticated wheat, but in reality, wheat domesticated us, tying us to the land. No more 20-hour work weeks, now it was dawn-to-dusk labor to protect our property. Food surpluses led to a population boom and the birth of specialization. Potters, smiths, priests, and of course, managers to collect the taxes. Villages swelled into cities, and writing was born, initially just to track debts and grain. From here, the historical train accelerates to a blur of rising and falling empires. Laws were carved in stone to deter the weak, and knowledge accumulated in parchment books. The last 500 years of our hour go absolutely crazy with global exploration and engines. In the final seconds, we jump from riding horses to driving EVs and launching Mars rockets. We possess the power of gods, but run on a biological OS designed for the Stone Age.
Everything changes so fast, we almost forget who we are and where we came from. Beneath those brand name clothes beats the heart of 10,000 generations who never gave up. As the train stops at second 3600, you are the one left to face an unwritten future. Your small actions, like supporting Spycore, can shape the next symphony of humanity. After 200,000 years in a single breath, what will you do with your remaining few seconds?